Well, it looks like campuses around the USA and the world, indeed the world. People have lost their minds. I'm going to do my best not to drift off into the politics. It's become part of the highlight lately of most conversations. In no small part due to massive insecurities, but folks, I see a change, a biblical change, right? I do. A huge biblical change. And I'll tell you what, I was going to reserve this, and don't ask, no one asked this time. No one. And you guys remember what happened the last time? We had our 40 days, right? You guys remember? After that 40 days was up, everything went downhill. Everything did. Right now, Israel is surrounded by enemies. Now, but there are some gaps. There are some folks in the Middle East who have not called themselves enemies of Jerusalem. Jordan has not done that yet. Saudi Arabia has not done that yet. Turkey has not done that yet. Right? Not yet. But they will. Why? They're being radicalized, even as we speak. Right? What we see in America, for example, on university campuses, these gatherings and protests of Israel. Now, in our country, listen to me carefully, in our country, you see protests. They're protesting Israel. This is what they're doing, pure and simple. Right? They want the Palestinian people free. And it is, I want you guys to have understanding. The people over there, all of them, are not militants. They're being utilized. It is just like an abusive relationship. You have a group of people who are utilizing the innocent as shields. They're being hurt. Right? While an army is doing damage. That would be Hamas. And then we have Hezbollah. And then we have the Houthis. Iran directly, for the first time in a long time, attacked Israel. Turkey has a high sentiment, and it's leaning towards the Iranian interests. As Benjamin Netanyahu continues to go forward, there will be offenses to all nations. Jordan was somewhat offended today. Okay. Those armies, they're almost complete, right? That is what you're looking for, these armies surrounding Jerusalem. And for 3.5 years, they're going to trample Jerusalem underfoot. You know, I often say, how can that happen if the USA is in power? Do you understand what's coming? Do you guys really understand that the government is being dismantled piece by piece from the inside? You may be emotionally vested in things that are happening in government. I'm telling you right now, it's being torn apart piece by piece from the inside out. And what you think is right may not be, and what you think is wrong may not be. Keep in mind that during this time, men will call right wrong and wrong right. The wrong kind of proof is coming. So there are going to be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars. What kind of signs, though? And upon the earth distress of nations. Well, if the people of these nations are distressed, the people are rebelling against their leaders. They have lost control. And if they are distressed with perplexity, they have no idea how to solve it, which means everything they attempted failed. Kind of like the USA, right? Everybody's been looking for a solution. Stay with me on this. Please don't log out and pull this out of context. Please don't do that. But people have been looking for some sort of solution through anybody they could in the USA, right? People thought that, several presidents would be that solution. And we found out that's not the case. No president is going to be the solution. People are rebelling against their leaders. Do you guys know about the prophecies? The Native American prophecies? Even the ancient prophecies in Europe and the UK? Do you know about the prophecies in Russia? The old ones. Do you know what they say? They say something very similar to this. That the subjects would rebel against their rulers. The subjects would. This is a very, very common saying in prophecy. Something across the board. I believe the Lord is right. I believe that in certain cases, you had people back then who had bits and pieces of true knowledge. No, bits and pieces. But what do you see happening now? What do you guys see in the UK? The UK is in trouble. How many people are here from the UK? I can see you on the map listening, but I don't know how many are here from the UK right here chatting. If you're from the UK, you guys are in trouble. And you know it. The riots are soon to begin. What about Germany? You guys are in trouble. Your riots are soon to begin. The USA, well, we already know the riots are soon to begin. The riots are soon to begin. The chatter is up. They're planning it right now. Nobody can do anything about it. Oh, by the way, let me give you guys a side note. If I happen to reference any of the dreams the Lord gave me to give to you guys because I'm speaking on the microphone and COT, please do not ever think I'm patting myself on the back. If God uses me for a dream, the only reason he did that is because I have the microphone. If you had the microphone, he'd use you as well. But you do remember that dream about that tablet. And they had plans on that tablet. And it was a rush to get the information on that tablet to leadership here in the USA. That they had plans within plans. I mean back-to-back plans to assault the USA. And it was more than one. Remember, I told you it was not just one thing. It was a bunch of things on there. The boat hit the bridge. They found something out about that boat and the electronics on the boat. But the boat hit the bridge. You guys remember that? Remember the boat? What do you see happening right now? You see a distraction. They're called demonstrations. That's what you see. Listen to me. What is feeding the trial? It's a spirit, ladies and gentlemen. It's the same spirit that wants to see blood from anything it can handle. There are no sides when it comes to these spirits. It's them and it's humanity. It does not matter what party you're in. You're about to see that too. These spirits are going to attempt to fry any and everybody they can from any infraction. There are elements in the populace that are going to drive the persecution of these leaders to the point of almost hanging them. And if you let them, they're going to creep among you, in your families. You think that will cause some distress? You better believe it. A big trouble. What's so amazing, what I do not hear being addressed is this. You're starting to see activities within the USA that stand against everything any nation is founded on. It's almost like nobody cares. In other words, they have already shredded the legal system, constitutional rights. They've turned them into something else. The law specifically states what can and cannot be done, and no one is following the law except only when it's convenient for their assault of somebody else. It's falling apart. It is. I'm a believer in Christ. I do not side with Republicans or Democrats. But let me share this with you. Can anybody on earth name a person who has not done what Donald Trump did as a business leader? Can you name someone who never did any of those things? You probably cannot. What I'm telling you is this, right? There are lots of people who get in those positions of power. They get money. They slip and they slide. They do things. They do. But people change. They do. Most of the folks who are in the White House, they have some pretty colorful backgrounds. They may not have federal offenses, but many of them have done something akin to rape, having parties and doing things they shouldn't have been doing. They indulge in things that would disgust you. But you can't prosecute a person on things like that until it interferes with a person gaining power. Republican, Democrat, Independent, Donald Trump, or not those who are not Donald Trump. It goes well beyond Obama and all of those people. This goes to the heart of the matter, something all of us are supposed to be. What do you have right now? You're at the dawn, you're at the doorstep of a breakout of all types of weather. You saw it last year, right? This year, the weather has consumed lives. This year, the weather has cost a lot of money and damaged a lot of infrastructure. So already did that. And this year is going to be worse than next year. 2024 is going to be life-altering. The seas, the wind, you're going to start hearing constant threats about the wind. I know I'm a guy from the bushes who said that at the beginning of the year. And lots of people disputed that. He said, we're going to have a wind problem. We are going to have a wind problem. The winds, they're arriving this year. And for the first time, we're going to have a consistent type of isobar formation between highs and lows. It's going to be unsafe on the seas at various times throughout the years because of the wind. Cities will rock because of the winds. It is so difficult to believe, like the government was chasing werewolves. I believe it was somewhere around 219 species that have been here all this time. You know, even the government knows we have a problem, and it's not with aliens. The people want to believe that, and that's what they're going to believe. The government knows what they have a problem with. They know why they did what they did with the national parks. That began in the Grand Canyons. They know what they're doing. Right? They know what they're doing. And when the soldiers, the sheer number of soldiers start coming forward with their real stories. Like, for example, When soldiers come forward and they tell you that they were forbidden, commanders were forbidden from using NVGs during night training, well, they could not use NVGs in night training, but then you have a couple sergeants who kept it anyway. They kept their NVGs. And upon looking through them after being fed up with certain movements during war games, they take a peek, and what they see changes them forever. Double lump-headed, big-eyed frogs crouched on rocks and very little, not big, little but highly dangerous, because they can mess with your mind. And everybody's told, never speak of this. And there's nothing we can do about it. That's the term people are going to start hearing. When you find out the truth is going to be that no one was able to do anything about it. No one was able to do anything about it. What is known is that many people have been ruined by it, and they can't recover. They hear what no one is speaking. They have tendencies they can't solve. When something of power that scares you to pieces communicates to you, it causes a surrender in a human being. Remember that. If something scared you to pieces, but then it communicated with you, you would have some reverence toward it. Some people are going to find out what we have to endure, what we have to go through, the forecast, if you will. And that's terror. Talking about it is one thing. Having to live through it is something totally different. For those who have had a small demonstration of certain things, to imagine it's going to be here on a permanent basis. Old creatures, remnants of what was a long time ago, being recreated, always underneath your feet. And when all that stuff surfaces, many people will have a heart attack because they would not even consider the truth, even the truth that they're about to be exposed to. Almost on a weekly basis, they won't be able to consider it. There will be a protective element within them that will cause them to look away, and they will watch television. I Love Lucy or something to find some television comfort. You guys know I'm telling the truth, because most people use television and radio to find that familiar spot from yesterday so they can escape the world today. One day that won't be possible. It will not. You ever want to stop doing things for Satan? Never take anything out on anybody else. Never again. Many people have to reap every single day because they keep sowing negativity in somebody else's life. You want to stop reaping instantly. Never allow your emotions to cause you to do anything to somebody else. This is a real deal, 51 days. Unlike last time, I'm keeping count this time because my prayers are for your readiness. I'm not talking about anybody leaving either. It's going to be more of an immersion. All of you will be witnesses. Very specific things. This is my time to pray for you. I believe the world will see it, which means they have a secure already, right? They're probing with all this UFO stuff, in my humble opinion, to see what the feedback of people is. They want to see your arguments and what you'll accept and what you won't accept and what you already know. They want to see that, but you'll eventually see it. But this will happen at a time when society will have shifted. And hear me on this. If society shifts in America and Germany and the UK, you play a role in the stability of all nations right now, even to the security of Israel. that security is going to be broken. Fairly quickly, we see the onset of it right now. We see the protests. But you know what's most damaging? We see elements within leadership who do not want Israel protected. They have sympathy for things they don't know if they're believing rhetoric, they are, but they have great sympathy for Hamas. Imagine a person who has a heart for Hamas but no heart for Israel. Cyber threats. They will continue until we go 100% biometric, which, by the way, should take place this year. You guys are aware of that, right? This year? You're set up, you're ready to go this year. Biometrics. With all these cyber problems, right? You're ready to go biometric this year, not next year. Everything was supposed to be 2025. Something in the heavens has changed that. The sun is premature in what it's doing. Tomorrow, in fact, you'll see a small piece of that. Tomorrow is tomorrow's 24th. So you should see a small piece of that tomorrow. All these changes, in effect, this is that time we have to find out where we are. Not who we are, where we are. If they showed you guys an artifact of something that is impossible, and it did make you question your origins, what would that do to your belief in Christ? Yet they're saying nothing, nobody is saying anything right now about a brand new constellation, are they? Nobody is. But when it shows, they're going to be instant experts on what that is. Here's what I'm telling you. They know nothing about it. Do you know why? They're going to continue to lean towards those things that may tell some truth, but entertain you at best. Right? They want to entertain you because there's a compromise. Somebody said, what are the Artemis missions for Accord? Well, I'll tell you something. You guys know Elon is trying desperately to leave this planet. Right? They want to mine the moon for money. They see an objective in the moon for money to pay for any other exploration they want to do. Right? What they could be missing is that if there were a creature from outside the solar system that was extremely smart, they would have already conducted surveillance upon us. They would already know we're not too swift. The real disclosure is going to deal with life forms that have been here this entire time. It will deal directly with the fallen angels. It's going to deal with the Pantheon. In about 4 days, we have a weather event, so I hope that you guys are paying attention to your weather forecasts. Take them seriously. They're going to be discussed more and more this year, but there will be damages. There's going to be much damage this year. God bless each of you. We'll see you next time right here at COT. God bless.